We've been waiting a while, maybe even a long while, for an update to Amazon's 4K capable Fire TV Stick line. The current Fire TV Stick 4K was released nearly 3 years ago, but the wait is finally over and Amazon has released an updated stick-style streaming device. It's called the Fire TV Stick 4K Max. Amazon sent us its newest streaming device to check out, and while the company provided the Max for free, we're under no obligation to provide a favorable review. Our opinions remain 100% our own. In any case, on the outside, it looks broadly similar to the previous Fire TV Stick 4K, but Amazon's promising some notable improvements under the hood. There's also a slight price increase over the previous Fire TV Stick 4K, $54.99 versus $49.99. So what does that extra $5 get you in terms of an improved experience on Amazon's streaming platform? Well, we're about to find out. This is the Cord Cutters News review of the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K Max. Hardware and features. So let's see where this new streaming device falls within Amazon's current lineup of Fire TV sticks. And that includes the 1080p budget options, the Fire TV Stick and the Fire TV Stick Lite, which we reviewed in an earlier video. So if you want to see how those more affordable options perform, make sure you check out that earlier review. In any case, Amazon's lineup also includes the 2018 era Fire TV Stick 4K, which, pardon the pun, sticks around at the slightly cheaper price of $49.99, though you might also see it discounted, especially as we approach the holiday shopping season. And as you explore the comparison on your screen right now, you might notice the change in internal hardware, including an upgraded CPU and GPU, both of which are running at higher clock speeds compared to the Fire TV Stick 4K. Elsewhere, you'll see an increase in RAM from 1.5 GB to a full 2 GB in the Max. And on the connectivity front, we've got support for the newer Wi-Fi 6 standard, also known as 802.11ax, whereas the older Fire TV Stick models are still packing the previous Wi-Fi 5 or 802.11ac standard. Wi-Fi 6 offers the potential for faster connection speeds and more bandwidth for homes with a lot of network devices, although you'll need a Wi-Fi 6 compatible router in place to make the most of the new tech. Still, it is nice to see the new standard is present and accounted for in Amazon's newest streaming device, especially one they're touting as the top of the line for the Fire TV Stick lineup. And in case you're wondering how the specs on the latest Fire TV Stick fare when lined up against some of the most well-known competitors in the $50-ish market, here's another chart to gaze upon. As you can see, the new Max more than holds its own in the specs department, including more advanced Wi-Fi support and Dolby Atmos processing. And stay tuned, we're aiming to do a more in-depth comparison of this particular section of the streaming device market in a future video. It should be a fun shootout. For now though, let's open up the packaging on the latest Fire TV Stick and see what we've got on hand. Setup and performance. The packaging for the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max certainly bears more than a passing resemblance to earlier entries in the Fire TV Stick line, although there is a distinct bit of black trim up top to help signal this is Amazon's top-end Fire TV Stick. And they've also helpfully pointed to the boost in Wi-Fi performance. Once inside, you'll be greeted by a familiar slide-out paper tray that contains all the components in various compartments. Up top is where you'll find the new Max itself, along with a USB cord and Alexa voice remote. Tucked away on the side are the charger and Amazon Basics batteries for the remote. You'll also find some compact setup instructions and a handy HDMI extension cable if you need a little bit more wiggle room when installing your device. As for that installation, it's a familiar process if you've ever used a stick-style or dongle-style streaming device. Since the HDMI connection is built right into these streamers, all you need to do is insert the device in an open input on your TV, connect the power cable, and off you go to the software setup section. That process is thankfully straightforward as well. You'll be asked to pair a remote and select an available Wi-Fi network. At that point, the Max will check for available updates and install any it comes across. Then, after a restart or two, you can continue setting up your device. During the setup process, you'll be presented with options like importing settings from a previous device or enabling parental controls. And you'll likely see offers for services like Amazon's Kids Plus or the option to preload certain streaming apps, but you can skip past those and straight into using your device for the very first time. And if you're new to the current Fire TV interface, here's a quick recap. The main navigation bar sits in the middle with content tiles for various categories and suggestions below it. You can navigate downward so the tiles take up the whole screen and you can see more of what's available. Meanwhile, up top you'll see featured suggested content, teasers, and perhaps ads for Amazon's other streaming gear. and in general use, the Fire TV Stick 4K Max excels. You might recall Amazon revamped its user interface late last year, and the updates started rolling out to various devices throughout early 2021. And if you'd like a refresher on that interface, definitely check out our earlier video on the topic, which we'll link to in the video description down below. Menu scrolling is generally smooth, and navigating to different sections of the platform is responsive. It's not quite what I'd call lightning fast, but it is impressive considering the price tag. We scrolled through live streaming grids like the one in the Pluto TV app, and the Max kept up just fine. However, after pressing home to move from Pluto TV back to the home menu, it did take a little while to fully load those Fire OS menus back up and for the audio from the Pluto TV app to stop playing. It's certainly not a deal breaker, but perhaps a reminder that we're still dealing with what can be considered a mid-range category of streaming devices. And we'll get to some actual numbers in our performance tests in the next section, but it's safe to say the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max makes the act of using the Fire TV platform a more pleasant experience. Unfortunately, we don't have access to a Wi-Fi 6 router at the moment to test the Max's support of the latest wireless standards, but it worked just fine with our Wi-Fi 5 era setup, even across the house. We tested the Max on a variety of content, including 4K Dolby Vision titles, and the device performed well without a hitch. Overall then, the Fire TV Stick 4K Max does indeed feel like a notable upgrade over the Fire TV Stick 4K. Performance benchmarks. So yes, the Fire TV Stick 4K Max certainly feels smoother in everyday use compared to the 3-year-old Fire TV Stick 4K, but what about some cold hard numbers? Well, that's where our standard performance benchmarks come in. If this is your first review, this is where we load up a series of popular streaming apps and time how long it takes for a device to get those apps up and running. We run each device through our gauntlet at least 3 times, average those results, and then compare those numbers to other devices we've tested. And since Amazon is boasting that its new hardware is 40% more powerful than the Fire TV Stick 4K, we certainly looked forward to putting those claims to the test. So on your screen right now, you can see the various apps we use for those tests, and that includes Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, Disney+, and other well-known options. And for comparison's sake, here's how the 2018 era Fire TV Stick 4K did when we retested it for this review. And yes, we're running on the most up-to-date version of the company's software. And with a score of 142.01 seconds, the older Fire TV Stick 4K did not exactly set speed records during our testing. So now let's bring in the results from the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max. And as you can see, we're seeing better app loading performance in almost every stage with the newer model. Now, we're not exactly sure how Amazon came up with its 40% figure, but we are seeing notable improvements here, especially with that second Netflix startup at the end of the round. I'm guessing that extra bit of RAM is coming in handy. So if you've stuck by the Fire TV Stick 4K until now, the new Max offers a clear and significant upgrade. Wrapping it all up. So there you have it. It took a little longer than some of us might have expected, but Amazon's finally upgraded its top-end Fire TV Stick. And for $54.99, the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max offers up some welcome performance improvements over its predecessor. That extra speed and smoothness work well with the Fire TV interface. And the inclusion of more modern features like Wi-Fi 6 should help keep the new Max competitive for at least a little while, which could be good news if this new Max stays on top of the Fire TV Stick heap for as long as its predecessor did. Regardless, if you're a Fire TV fan, the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max is a long overdue but worthy upgrade. The slight price increase to $54.99 is a small price to pay for a solid improvement over the 4K, and it's a strong contender in the competitive field of $50 or so streaming devices. And if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you haven't done so already, please do consider clicking on those like and subscribe buttons down below. Those both really help support our channel, and we'd really appreciate it. Until next time though, my name is Philip Palermo. Thanks again for watching. Take care.